All right, guys, I'm back. I don't know how this is gonna work now. Let's see if we can work it out. Hey there, Mark. Hey there, Charles. How's it going, guys? I hope it works a little bit better now. I don't know. Issues here. Sorry about that. I don't know why. Usually I don't have any issues, but today, for some reason, I'm having issues. Can you guys hear me and see me okay now? Gremlins. I think it's gremlins. Oh, man. Early in the morning, having technical issues. It's not a good thing. Hope it's not an omen for the rest of the day. How's everybody doing today? Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you for your patience. We're on show number 92 today. Let's get the show started. Hopefully the rest of the boys will jump back on here. And we'll be able to continue the chat and get things up to speed the way they normally do. So the audio is not great. Alan, what's wrong with the audio? Is it too hot or not hot enough? What's going on? I could probably fix it. A bit of distortion. Okay, I'm probably just too hot. How's that? Is that a little bit better? Maybe I was just coming in a little bit too hot on the gain here. Is that a little bit better, guys? Just let me know. Is it okay now? Sorry, guys. Oh, man. I need a... I think I need a tech. Is it okay now? The sound's okay? Good? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Glad you guys could make it for another show. We're at show number 92. And as you can see this morning, we've had a couple of technical issues, but it seems to be all resolved, which is great. All right. So guys, let's jump right into the chit chat. I'm not hearing anything in my headphones today. I don't know why. Usually I do, and today I don't. I don't know what's going on here. Somebody's been messing with my mixer, I think. Anyways, I wonder if I can hear my guitar. I do hear the guitar. You guys hear the guitar? I don't know if that's coming in hot or clean or whatever, but I don't hear anything. I don't hear my voice in the headphones. That's why I wasn't able to hear that the level was too hot. So yeah, here you go, guys. This is the guitar that I've been working on. I've been talking about this guitar for quite a while. It's been something that I've been working on for last couple of weeks. So you guys don't hear the guitar either. Okay, I don't know what's going on, guys. Something is definitely not working the way I want it to be today. I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, let me see. I think I know what the issue is, guys. 1 second. 1 little second. All right, there. Now let's see if I can hear anything. Okay, now I don't hear. Huh. Sometimes you just have to mess with it till it works. And I don't have it plugged in properly. That's what the issue is. Anyways, don't worry. We don't need sound for today. We'll worry about sound next week. I'll get everything set up the way it should be. I don't want to waste too much of you guys' time on this. But I'm a little bit disappointed, I have to say, because it would have been nice to have some cool audio for you guys. And I think, yeah, I think the reason, I know what the reason is because I'm going through USB-C and the mixer is using USB-C and the audio interface also normally uses USB-C. And I can't connect two USB-Cs to my computer at the same time. So I have to go out with an analog cable into the mixer. And anyways, long story short, you're not getting any sound on the guitar today. You're just going to get some visuals. We'll have some sound next week. The cool thing though is that, yeah, the guitar I was talking about is the Strat that I was working on. So it's just about done, guys. It's almost there. It's, I'm going to say it's, I don't know, 90% there, 95% there. And it's something that I'm very proud of. I got to say it came out so good. Guys, I've been waiting, honestly, since 1982 or 83 for this build. You know, ever since I was a kid. 1982, the Van Halen album came out. I was a huge Van Halen fan. And I would really love to have this guitar back then. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to know how to build it. I didn't know, I don't know how to go about it. We didn't have all the information we have today. And basically, yeah, I've been lusting over this guitar for the last over 35 years, and I finally got it built, and I'm super proud of it. I think it came out fantastic. It was a challenge to build this guitar. Definitely was something that I was after, and I was a little nervous about because I hadn't built something as complicated as this paint job, and that was the most challenging part. I just want to make sure you guys are all still with me here today. Let me just check if you guys are definitely hearing me here. Oh, man, I hate when we have so many issues, but yeah, I seem to be still on. So, anyways, the other thing about this guitar is that it taught me quite a bit about why Eddie did certain things, and it became quite obvious once everything was put together to me. So it was a great learning experience, and I really wasn't sure how good it was going to come out till it was done. But honestly, in terms of the playability, right? Like, you could get the look right, but in terms of the playability, you don't really know till it's done. And I have to say, it's a really nice build, and I have to thank quite a few people on this. I got to thank, first of all, Bad Cat. They're the ones that I got the kit from, and it's a great kit. The headstock is accurate. The quality of the neck is really nice. The fit and finish on the actual the neck pocket and everything is really good. So I was happy with that kit. I was a little nervous about it. I wasn't sure what I was gonna get, but it's a perfect kit for this build, and I'm happy about that. So that's one person, one company I want to thank. The other company also is Pariah Pickups, for sending me these wonderful Pasadena pickups, which are not only they sound great, but they look authentic. They look like they've been in this guitar for 30 years. Neck pickup and bridge pickup as well. So I thank those guys, because really that's the heart and soul of the guitar, is the sound, and it sounds great. Of course, Christian's here today, I think. Are you here, Christian? I think he is. I think I saw him. Yeah, there he is. So Christian was really super about sending me this original Floyd Rose. This is not one of those Floyd Rose specials or anything like that. This is a made in Germany Floyd Rose original, and it's not only original, it's vintage. It's old, which fits the guitar perfectly because it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. With shiny chrome and all of that. So it actually fits the guitar perfectly. Thank you, Christian. It's a great sounding Floyd, and I honestly don't think the guitar would have been this good without the original Floyd. So I thank you a million times for that. What else can I say about this guy? The paint job. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm definitely going to do a full review on this guitar, and I'm going to also talk about, you know, the things that I learned building it. Every little mark on the guitar actually became quite clear to me as to why they were there. And it's weird because you don't really understand until you put it together. Like, for example, I'll just give you an example here. You see these scratches here, these little horizontal scratches, you might be able to make them out. They're on the original guitar. And on the original guitar, I basically based myself on the original photos that were posted online of Ed's guitar when it was actually at the museum. So these are, I'm basing myself on real photos of the actual Franken Strat and not all of the images floating around the internet of copies. And it's hard to tell which ones are which sometimes because the copies are really well done. But unfortunately, they're not accurate. A lot of them are not. So I wasn't really aiming for 100% accuracy on this because it's almost impossible to do, but I just wanted to get it pretty close. Anyways, these little scratches I mimicked because they were on Ed's guitar, but I wasn't really sure why. Then I realized what it is when Ed was putting in the Allen key to adjust the Floyd, he would turn the Allen key and it would make the scratches here. Because it's almost like perfectly in line with the length of the Allen key, and I'm almost 100% certain that's what caused those scratches here. You know, other things like the quarter, you know, the famous quarter, 1971. It's there, but a lot of people don't know why it's there, right? And really, what it is just he would push the quarter underneath the Floyd when he was doing the setup so that he would have it floating just a smidge, and it's instead of going and look for stuff to put under there, you just flip the quarter and slide it underneath. And that's also why you have these little bare patches here, because of the sliding back and forth of the quarter. So little things like that, you know, that are not obvious become quite obvious to you when you actually build it, you know. And there was a couple of things I decided to leave out as well. I didn't want to. Usually, the original one has the reflectors in the back. That's why I didn't really relic the back yet, because it's full of reflectors. I have the reflectors. I decided not to put them on because they're a little bit awkward in the back. So I didn't really feel like I wanted to do that. And at the same time, I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to go with the loops, because the loops are a little bit of a pain because you can't put a regular strap. So you have to fandangle something. I actually modified this strap with the loops. So now I have this really nice strap, and I basically modified the strap to be able to put in the loops here. So now I could swivel loops, put them in, and you can swing the guitar around and it won't fly off. So a really fun build to do. I had a lot of fun doing this one. And I'm really happy to have built it because it plays great, and I wish I could make you guys hear it today, but unfortunately, I don't know why. It's weird because I hear it on my end. You sure you guys don't hear any of that? Anyways, I'll make sure that it's working for next time or for the video that I'm going to be doing so that you guys can hear it. Because the pickups sound great. You can hear it now? Okay, that's weird. What the hell's going on? Wow. Okay. I'm glad you hear it. That's weird that you're hearing it now, but whatever. Anyways, just to give you a little bit of a teaser of what it sounds like. By the way, the sounds are coming out of the Ampero Stomp. The Ampero Stomp 2 that I guys showed you last week. I've been playing around with that. No, Quicksilver, it's not the MG300. So it's the Ampero Stomp that I'm playing. It's just a standard patch. This is what they call, this patch is called a J-Rock Rhythm and Lead. It's one of their standard patches. I've been playing the Ampero Stomp quite a while, since about a week or two, and I actually played it in a live situation last week. Sounds freaking great. It really does. So now the guitar's too loud. Oh man. Okay. Is it too loud? I don't know, man. Let me change patch here. Do you guys hear that? I don't know. I don't know if you can hear it in stereo. It's got a little bit of ping pong delay on this patch. Yeah, anyways, getting back to you guys. Sorry, I got sidetracked with all of that. Quicksilver, the Ampero Stomp is great. Honestly, I can honestly say that it is better than the MG30. Right now, the Ampero is the main one that I'm really digging. It's got a lot of flexibility built into it. I will be doing a review on it. I'm just trying to get familiar with all the ins and outs, no pun intended. But basically, it's got some really nice clean too on this. Let me just see if I can dial something up here, just to give you an idea. Let me just go to a patch that I have here of, what do I have here? It's not actually clean, this one. This is a little bit of a dirt. I dialed some dirt. You can hear the hair on it. It was a little bit of a black Fender Deluxe, but with, I think I have a drive pedal on this one. So let me just turn that off. There you go. It's pretty clean, pretty nice. I don't know if you're hearing it as clean as I'm hearing it on my end because it's going through the mixer, but so you can get some really convincing sounds out of this thing. It's great for a little small. It does clean up with the volume knob. We can try that. Let me just, what I'm going to do, guys, by the way, is, I know a lot of people are interested in the Ampero, the new one. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a live broadcast once I get everything hooked up properly. And I'm going to be playing through the sounds, playing through this thing, and I'm going to be answering the questions live, so you guys can ask me questions like this, you know. So does it clean up with the actual volume pot? So let's try that. Let's go to a little sound that I have here that is a little bit on the hairy side, and so let me just dial this in. I got something called 80s lead. Let me dial it back. So that's dialed back, and this is full up. Full up and dialed back. So it's not going to be 100% clean. Sounds pretty good. Back to distortion again. Anyways, this is not going to be a demo of the Ampero Stomp, but it definitely surprised me because I was able to use it in a live situation with the Headrush FR speaker that I have, and it's just a small one. And it was definitely loud enough to hang with the band, plenty of low end, and the only shortcoming of it really was the fact that I didn't really know how to use it 100% yet. So there was certain things that I wanted to do, which I wasn't really sure how to do yet. That's why I wanted to play around with it first before I do a demo on it. But so far, I honestly can say it does sound better than the other Ampero units that I have. So the Ampero 1. To me, it sounds way better. So if you guys are interested in grabbing one of these things, it's about $500 to $600. The only disadvantage is that you don't have the expression pedal or volume pedal built in, so you have to kind of buy that separately. But if you buy an expression pedal with it, and you get the extended switches, you can get like 2 more switches that you can put into the unit, so you have a total of 5 switches with the pedal on it, and you're good to go. You pretty much have the flexibility you need, and it has great speaker emulations, amps, pedals, really a lot of pedals, and sounds really good. So the real test was live, and I think it really succeeded. I'm actually going to be taking this one tonight as well. We're doing another session tonight. So that says a lot. If I'm leaving my amps at home, it definitely says a lot in terms of the quality of the sounds. Also, the flexibility of just bringing a small box this big instead of having to lug around amplifiers and a bunch of pedals. So all I do is I grab my guitar, I grab this, and I grab my FR speaker, which is not, no bigger than that, and I'm good to go. Okay, let's make sure we can... All right, guys, so let's answer some questions. I mean, it's not all about meat here today, and I know you guys always have some great questions for me. So let's start off talking about what's going on your side of things. Who's got some new gear that they want to talk about? I know that there's a lot of comments that went by while I was blabbing there. So please just repost what you guys purchased or are purchasing or thinking about purchasing in the chat below right now, so I don't have to scroll all the way back. Bruce says, also sold my Ampero 100 and got an open box NUX MG30 from Amazon for $225. I loved the Ampero but wanted something with an effects loop for my looper and fork cable method. That's the wonderful thing about the Ampero 2. It's got the effects loop. You got it. So it's a great way to take that and actually attach it to your pedals. Quicksilver, new old gear, NUX Solid Studio, sold it, found myself buying it again. Yeah, I've done that a couple of times too, Quicksilver, when you sell something and you're like, man, I should buy that back again. Yeah, you feel kind of silly when you do that, but I guess it's good because you really know that you shouldn't have sold it in the first place, right? Maybe you hang on to it the second time. I did that with an MXR, the MXR analog delay. I bought one, used it for a while. The carbon copy is the one I'm talking about. I used it for a while, sold it, bought another one, sold that one too. Cohen says TC Electronic Hall of Fame Mini and Rusty Fuzz. Nice. So you're into the fuzz aspects of the sounds, Cohen. I tried fuzzes myself a couple of times, and I couldn't. I don't see. For me, the way I play and the style of music I play, I don't really need fuzz. It's a cool effect, though. You got to say, like, the fuzz sounds like your speaker's gonna blow up most of the time, and it's a cool effect to play with. But I built a fuzz face actually, a fuzz face circuit pedal from a kit, and it sounded great. I ended up selling it, but it's just because I didn't really use it all that much. But it sounded pretty cool. Rico's enjoying his Alex Lifeson Epiphone. I'm glad to hear that you're still liking that one. Quicksilver says the EHX 15 watt howitzer. Cool, man. A lot of good stuff you guys are buying, man. Look at you guys. Look at you guys. I guess you guys are getting ready for, does this qualify as the pre-Christmas gift to yourself? Or is it still too early? Because I have this discussion with my wife, there's a certain period where it could fall into the Christmas gift category. So I want to be careful that I don't do that. So then I don't disqualify my Christmas gift by accidentally buying something too soon or too late in the game. Fat Philosopher got a Fender Jazz bass, a black Strat, and a Telecaster pickguard for my delayed Telecaster. Well, hopefully it's a little bit closer, Fat Philosopher. I can't wait to see that purple Telecaster once you get it, dude. I think you're going to be happy with it. I think you're going to be pretty happy with it. Good things come to those who wait, they say, right? So, FX Steen says, just picked up a Line 6 HX Stomp. Any good? I think they're great. Basically, the HX Stomp is basically what Ampero and NuX and everyone else is kind of vying for. That little mini Stomp pedal, small form factor, but still with a decent power and great sounds and affordable. That's the key thing, is that they're not too expensive. So when I tried the Line 6 Stomp, I liked it. I thought it was great. Very compact. So again, easy to keep in your, throw in your case or your bag, or keep on your desk if you're doing any recording at home. Doesn't take a lot of space. The cool thing about all these units is they do come with some really good software that you can tweak a lot of stuff. And it makes it really easy once you have it on your screen to be able to go deep into the menus and dive into all the sounds and tweak them the way you want. As I said, for me, the big disadvantage with these multi-effects units is that they're really a rabbit hole in terms of being able to dial in the sound that you want. And they could be like a vortex, just sucking away your time instead of practicing. You're just playing with the sounds. With the Stomp so far, man, I gotta say, the sounds, I've been able to get the sounds I want pretty quick, which is great, because I like to be able to have the editing power, but I don't want to necessarily waste hours and hours. So with a couple of tweaks, I set up about, 6 or 8 sounds, which will cover the sets that we're playing, that I need for tonight, and not a big deal, There are some things that I did discover along the way, though, that are a little bit like little pain points, little things that I wish they would have done better. And I'm going to talk about that in my video, because when you actually use it, you can actually see where the shortcomings are. And I'm going to make a list of all these things, just little things that would be so easy to do better. And hopefully the guys from Ampero will be listening to the comments, and maybe they'll fix that in a firmware update or something. Gospel of Mark says, I have 2 guitars at the tech getting new humbuckers. Cool. Which guitars, Mark? I'm just wondering. And which humbuckers? I'm just curious. Charlie S. Tony, when you got your warmth neck, did you have to do any fret dressing? If so, what? I think you mean Warmouth neck. I didn't get a Warmouth neck, Charles. I don't know if you think this is a Warmouth neck, but it isn't. This is comes with the kit, if this is what you're referring to. I'm not really sure. So I'm not sure if you're talking about this one now, or if you're talking about something else. Please clarify so I can answer your question better, Charles. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys are buying up stuff. Leo says, got a great Black Friday price on a USA Wolfgang in ivory pre-order from a seller on eBay last night. Awesome, man. So Leo, is that the American ones are great. I don't know how much it set you back, but they're not cheap guitars. I think you're gonna like it, man. It's a great guitar. I had the black, the stealth one. If you go back in my videos, you'll see that one. Really, I like that guitar a lot. It's definitely a great, well-built guitar. There's nothing wrong with it in terms of the build on that. And that wasn't the American one. That wasn't. So that was the import model. So the American one, I'm sure, will be even better. I'm sure you're going to be super stoked once it comes in. That's a nice gift, man. Wyatt says, I got a Donner bass guitar. I have one of those bass guitars too, Wyatt. Pretty solid bass guitars. Only thing, I think it requires a little bit of fret end filing, because sometimes the fret ends could be a little bit sharp. But beyond that, it's a great kick around bass to have. Great for laying down tracks. Seth says, finished up another build this week. Mary Kay translucent white rosewood board with 21 medium jumbo frets, custom opaque sonic blue pickguard. Cool. cool, man. Sonic opaque. Gold hardware with mother of pearl tuner buttons plecked and set up. Nice, Seth. Really nice. Awesome, dude. I'm glad to see that those builds are coming out. They're popping out like muffins there on Seth's side. That's pretty cool. Cohen says no. I almost never use fuzzes that way. They really sound good at low gain settings. Overdrive with a different sound character. Yeah, the one I like the most, Cohen, the one I built. Do I have it here? I do have it here somewhere. Anyways, I don't see it here in the pile. I think I have it in another place here. But there was one that I built which was the Dark Side of the Moon, DSOTM pedal. It's from I believe that one was from a guitar kit company that I purchased, and it's basically along the same lines as a Screddy Lunar Lander. And if you guys haven't tried those pedals, they're fantastic. The only issue with those pedals is they're like $300. I had the original Lunar Lander, and I ended up selling it after I built this one because they were really close. Sounds great. Again, one that I built. So I have a couple of pedals, a couple of pedal builds under my belt, but I'm not a pro at electronics or anything like that. So I'm a little, I don't spend too much time building pedals anymore, because if something does go wrong, you're kind of stuck trying to figure it out. And unless you know electronics really well, you could pretty much mess up a build and have to like throw it away, unless somebody tells you, oh look, you put in that transistor the wrong way and it's polarized, you know. easy rookie mistakes to make, right? Leo says, I've been watching those prices, still hovering around $1,400 on eBay and Reverb. You got a killer deal. Yeah, I think so, man. Bruce says, gave my Harley Benton TE90 to my nephew this week and bought 2 Gibson Les Paul special tributes, one with Buckers and one with P90s. Got a great deal, $1,750 for both, and both brand new. Awesome deal, man. Wow. With P90s too, eh? I love those P90s, dude. There's something about P90s. It just sounds raw. It sounds like a Telecaster on steroids or something, but it's you have to have at least one guitar with P90s, in my opinion. Vox says, I always back off on gear purchases around Christmas because you never know what's going to show up. Exactly. There's a lot of these Black Friday deals happening right now. And Black Friday, guys, you know how it works. Black Friday it's not just for Friday. It's, you know, till Christmas. So a lot of people will pull out really nice deals, and you can basically save a lot of money if you're just patient and you have the money available and you grab it. Plus, on the used market, there's a lot of guys that are, you know, getting rid of stuff because, you know, they're buying new guitars. So you buy a new guitar, you sell something old, you know, to replace it with. You know, it's a win-win there, guys. You know, so be patient. Actually, I was looking at some deals. There's just so you guys know, in case you guys are interested, Guitar World magazines. You guys remember those? I used to buy those religiously when I was a teenager, just for the tabs. Of course, you know, the majority of those magazines are advertisements, you know what I mean? Indirectly or directly. But I just bought those for the tabs, and you can get a subscription to those, to that magazine almost 50% off now, because of Black Friday and stuff. So, you know what? I might actually subscribe to the magazine again. I like paper, you know, yeah, you can get digital formats, but I like paper, and I like flipping through the tabs and stuff. And I have a whole bunch like saved away from, you know, starting from the 80s till today, and it's sort of like a library of tabs and stuff. So I'm gonna probably subscribe to that again. So Transgotten says, hello, I have a Moore GE200 and I record in Reaper, but after I can't hear what I have recorded only when I play. If I use ASIO driver, what do you think? Okay, so I don't use Reaper, so I can't really help you out so much. Maybe someone else can. But it just sounds like an ins and outs issue. So probably it's just you don't have the proper ins and outs set up. I don't know how you're, if you're going through a laptop or how you're set up. So it's really hard for me to, I would have to go into your settings and see how you have things set up. But it sounds to me like it's just an ins and outs issue. Maybe someone else can help you with that. I don't use Reaper, I use Logic. So best deals will be at sites like Amazon in January when all of the holiday returns go on sale as open box items. Yeah, probably, Bruce. I'm okay with open box items. If they're in good condition, I don't care. Let the other guy pay the 40% surplus on it. Good morning. Nice guitar. You built it. Can't tell the difference. Thank you. I don't know if that's... Can't tell the difference in terms of what? Until this and the original one? Well, it's not a carbon copy, but thank you. Thank you. It was a really fun build. Leo says, Vi, yeah, I thought it was EVH Frankie when the show first started. Tony did a great job. Yeah, actually, Leo, it's funny because I went to the store, the music store, and I told the story last week, so I don't want to repeat myself. But for those of you who weren't around last week, I went to the store and I was just looking around to see if they had anything new. I actually went there to buy a couple of pots for my builds because I needed one for this guitar as well as another one that I'm building. And lo and behold, on just behind the counter, they had the EVH Mexican version, the Relict one, hanging there, $2,500. And I said to myself, I'm going to ask the guy. I know the guy pretty well, so I said, can I just take a close look at that? It was the first time I saw one or held one in my hands, and I took it and I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, I can see how they did it and how they did the paint job and whatnot. And it's a great cool guitar. I mean, it's not a anybody who has that guitar that likes these types of guitars can definitely get something really nice. I don't think those guitars are bad guitars, but the price $2,500 is steep, man. Is steep. If I calculate the cost of this build, if I would break it down into piece by piece, and obviously some of the pieces were donated, so I wouldn't necessarily calculate it in real life. But if I had to build this from scratch, you're looking at about what? For the Floyd Rose, if you buy a brand new one, you're looking at about $300. If you're looking at the pickups on this guitar, you're looking at probably another $175. The body kit was probably another $200. Then all the accessories, right? You need the tuners. Well, the tuners came with the kit, the tone knob I had left over, the pick guard, but all these things add up, right? You need to still pay for these kind of things. And then the paint job. So with the black, the white, the red, primer, and all that kind of stuff, you're still looking at about another $100 or so. But honestly, you can probably build this guitar if you have the skills for about, and if you're resourceful in where you get your parts. If you have a tickle trunk full of used parts like I do, then definitely it wouldn't cost that much. But if you're trying to be true to the original, you're looking at about $500, $500 to maybe $600, depending on what kind of parts you get and what kind of kit you get and whatnot. You can definitely go like full Monty on the kit and buy something really expensive. You can go Warmouth and really get a really nice bird's eye maple neck that's going to cost you just for the neck $300 or $400 if you want to go that way. But if you want to do a budget build, and I honestly feel that the budget build is more in line with the original because Ed didn't spend a lot of money on his guitar. Didn't have money back then, so he bought the cheapest stuff that he can get. Build it from parts. That's why it looks terrible. But if you want to go that route, $500-600 you can get one. So if you're looking at $500-600 as opposed to $2,500 plus tax, ooh. The good thing is, I mean, if you try and sell it, obviously, if you buy the Fender made one or the EVH one, obviously it's going to be something that you can resell. The parts casters are not really as easy to sell because people don't know how well they're put together. They can look really good, but at the same time, they might not sound good. So, you know, just my 2 cents on that. Do you have the Ampero 2? When the review? Yes, I do have the Ampero 2. I was actually playing it at the beginning of this video. I'm going to be working on that review shortly, and there'll be a few different things. I have an unboxing video that I already shot when I got it, and that I just didn't put it up yet. But I'm going to put it up for you guys that like unboxing videos. I don't know why everybody likes unboxing videos, but they do. So that one has a few of my initial impressions on the unit, and that'll be probably going live this week. And then we're going to be doing a full review of the unit, as well as I'll show you how to build patches in it. But I also want to do a live event where I'll be taking questions and answers directly from people as we're diving through the unit, and just to show it, because I think it's really worth the effort. It really is a pretty good unit, man. I've been playing with Reaper today with Boss Nextone as the interface. You need a generic AISO driver like AISO for all to have separate input and output devices. So there you go, Jeff. I mean, thank you, Jeff. There you go. You might that might lead you to the answer to your question there regarding why you don't hear it. You could get at the moment. So Gunter's saying this. You can get at the moment an MG30 for 222 euros, the Ampero for 277 euros. The Ampero Stomp will be 499 euros. Is it worth for the beginner? I would say yes. Gunter, I have the MG30. It's right here. Let me see here. I'm making old man noises. I have the MG30. Sorry, the MG300. Sorry, I mixed it up. The MG30 I haven't tried yet. I've actually been trying to get my hands on the MG30 for a long time. Haven't been able to do it. But the MG300 still had some decent sounds in it. Was very inexpensive. The MG30 I haven't tried yet, so I can't really talk about that from experience. But I have the other Amperos, and I have the Ampero Stomp. For me, spending a little bit more for the Ampero Stomp is really worth it in terms of the quality of the sounds. For me, it's really a question of the clean sounds. Convincing clean sounds are hard to get on a lot of units. They just don't sound like they have the same amount of bite for some reason. The Stomp has what they call the tri-core DSP, which I don't know what that means. It's just maybe some marketing term, but they do have the ability to use a bunch of built-in IRs as well. So it definitely, to me, sounds really good. So I would definitely spend the extra money. Seth says, treble bleed or no treble bleed? That is the question. What's the answer, Seth? I've tried treble bleed mods on a couple of my on my guitars. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. It depends on the type of pickups you're using them with. But you definitely will be able to tell the difference when you turn it down. Sometimes if you go too crazy with the values, it could become a little bit too harsh sounding, in my opinion. But there's a bunch of different ones, so it depends on which ones you're playing with, which versions of the treble bleed mod that you're using. I'm just looking at it. If I were to get an Epiphone, it would be the Lifeson model, no lefty though. So the Lifesense model, a lot of people like that one. I think that one has the Floyd on it as well. I don't know if the Floyd on that is a budget Floyd though. It's kind of weird to have a Floyd on a Les Paul style guitar. Sorry, Bruce. I thought you meant AMS. I thought you were abbreviating Amazon. Americans Musical Supply. Sorry about that. I should have realized that. I think it's still early. I didn't have enough coffee this morning. Speaking of coffee, let me just take a quick sip before it gets cold. Man, nothing, I don't like cold coffee, but I need some coffee in the morning. Okay. Rico says, Tony, where'd you get the red single coil? So you're referring to this guy, right? Yeah, so those of you who are building these Frankenstrat kits, this is a really hard thing to find normally. If you try and find one used somewhere, almost impossible. Pariah Pickups makes a Frankenstein set, which comes with a relic humbucker. This is a Pasadena version, and it also comes with this one, which is the true to spec single coil with the red top. That are really hard to find, and you can get this either active, so you can actually plug it and use the neck and the bridge, or you can get it as a dummy if you're not intending in wiring it up. Now, Ed didn't use this one. It was never actually plugged in. Ed tried to figure out the wiring. I think he wanted to essentially make a hybrid, so with a humbucker in the bridge position and a single coil in the neck position, and he wanted to wire it up that way. But he never actually figured it out. I guess at the time there was no internet, very hard to figure out. So he wired it up, never got it to work properly, stuffed the switch in here with, with the wires and everything, and just left it there so it would be out of the way, and went straight pipe through the humbuckers into the volume knob straight out. And to me, doing that, having a straight connection, is the best sound. I've tried it on a couple of guitars where I have a switch on them that can actually bypass all of the circuitry and go straight out, and it sounds the best. So Ed was onto something there. Simple, but it still sounded really, really good. So long story short, you can get this from Pariah Pickups. Just contact them. They have them on their website, but it's hard to find. It's a little hidden, that particular one. Yeah, Jeff says treble bleed question. The answer is 50s style everything. I tend to agree with Jeff. I like the 50s style wiring. I've done those on a few of my Les Paul style guitars, and they do sound great. Yeah, Cohen says sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes I use the automatic roll-off when the volume goes down. Sometimes I wish I had a treble bleed mod. It depends on the combo, right? What you're playing through at the time. Vox Guitars asks if GFS 95 humbuckers are good. I want to put one in the neck of my SG. So GFS is Guitar Fetish, right? I've tried a couple of Guitar Fetish pickups. They weren't bad. I'm not going to say they were stellar, but for the money you pay, they're not bad at all. You can definitely put them into your guitars and keep them there till you find something better that you like. The only way to know is really to try it in that specific guitar. It depends on what you're after and what you're trying to match it up with, but it's not a huge amount of money, so definitely well worth the effort and giving it a shot, I think. You might be surprised. And the cool thing about those GFS pickups is that you can always take off the cover on the pickups and swap the magnets. So for example, if that one comes with an A2 or an A4 magnet, you can maybe try putting in an A5 magnet. I have a bunch of magnets that I bought off eBay. There's sellers on eBay that sell magnets specifically for humbuckers. And I usually try and buy a couple of each and have them on standby, because if I don't like a pickup for whatever reason, before chucking it, I'll just take out the magnet and put in a different style magnet, and sometimes that's enough to make it so that it sounds the way I want it, and I just save myself some money and effort searching for magnets or pickups that would cost me a little bit more money. I can do it myself. It's a pretty easy thing to do too, not a big thing. Gospel of Mark says the piezo in the PRS ended up sounding really great at the gig on Friday. Sounds just like an acoustic with a slight EQ adjustment. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, because the piezos, on some acoustic guitars that have piezos, they just sound a little bit too, what's the word? Like plinky. I don't know. There's just a little bit of a plasticky sound. I don't know if you could, if you understand what I'm trying to say. But if you can dial it out with some EQ settings, that's awesome, because it's nothing really sometimes you just need that acoustic guitar sound quality, you know. And actually, again, returning back to the Ampero Stomp, there's some great options for acoustic guitars in this thing. And one of the things that really blew my socks off is that you're able to mix the acoustic guitar sound with a clean electric guitar sound. So you can actually play and mix in the acoustic sound with a clean electric. So it's almost like you're doubling up the sound, and it sounds really nice and full. And if you put a delay, depending on how you do the actual patch, how you build your patch, you can actually put a little delay on one or the other to separate it a little bit more, and it sounds like two guitars playing. Really cool. These are the little things that I really love about these multi-effects units that are really hard to do just with regular pedals. Yeah, so exactly, Leo. Pariah Franken set should be in the vintage section under Pasadena section on their website. Yeah, you know, I'm going to mention it to them and ask them to put it up front somewhere, because it's a little bit hidden. I agree with you, man. I stumbled on them at one point, then I tried to find them again, and it was a little bit hard when I was navigating the website. So yeah, I'm gonna try to mention it. By the way, I'm gonna have the main man at Pariah Pickups on the show to talk about pickups and builds and all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be pretty wild. So if you guys are interested and you want to have some pickup related questions answered, tune in during that show. We have that lined up. It's just a question of when I'll be able to post that. Okay, Tony, any thoughts on installing a hidden neck pickup under the pick guard? I'm thinking of trying a hot 10K single coil, hoping that under the guard and far from the strings. Well, it would be cool to try that out, maybe with a broadcaster type Telecaster or something like that, where you can just have the bridge pickup showing, but you could still have the neck pickup hidden underneath the pick guard. I don't know how well it would work, though. I mean, it would have to be pretty hot to go through the plastic like that. So I don't know if at the end of the day you would be muffling the sound too much. And I wonder if you can actually do that with a humbucker. I don't know if the humbucker would work. It would be an interesting experiment, though. But it would be it would be pretty far from the strings. So I don't know how much of a, maybe it would be a little bit too bass sounding, bassy. I guess you would have to get some pickups that are really cutting to be able to blend with sort of blocking the signal like that. Could be an interesting experiment, though. Quicksilver says, treble bleed if you only use your volume knob and never touch the tone knob. Dial that 10 all the time. And grease bucket circuit if you dial the volume up to 10 and fiddle with the tone knobs. What do you guys normally do? I usually back off the sound on the volume to about a 7. I don't always play it on 10. I like to have a little bit extra just for the solos. Because yeah, you can boost it with a pedal, but sometimes you just need a little bit more. And I find that just dialing back to 7 gives you enough headroom to give a little bit more bite. And if the boost pedal doesn't kick in enough juice when you need to cut through, just having a little bit extra and just dialing it in with the knob will do the trick. I know a lot of people are just constantly on 10. So I don't know what you guys do, but I'd like to. I don't usually dial around with the tone knobs. Unless the guitar is really, really spiky, I usually don't touch the tone knobs too much. My guitars usually are not that spiky, unless you happen to be using a Telecaster with a different type of amp for some reason, and it's harsh, then I'll use a tone. Otherwise, they kind of stay put. Fat Philosopher says, tone knobs are for the weak. Put them on 10, leave them there. Well, that's why this cool guitar is simple. You only have one knob. That's it. It's foolproof. Perfect for me. For under the pickguard, I would use a blade type pickup, as you can get some really bright tones. That's a good point, Paul. Yeah, and I think the blade pickups. I wonder what's the hottest. I think the hottest blade pickups are about 14K. I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So maybe the brightness from those pickups and the fact that you're cutting off the highs with the plastic pickguard, that might be a good thing. It's going to be a really difficult thing to kind of balance, though, if you ever want to fix the sound. You know, you can't really adjust the height or anything like that, so it's set and forget and hope for the best. One question I wanted to ask you guys. This is just a spur of the minute poll question, okay? I didn't post a poll this week, and I usually do. I know you guys answer the polls on a regular basis, and but today I wanted to do a spur of the moment poll. I want to see if you guys are really true guitarists or not. I want you to dig into your pockets right now. Stop for a minute. Get your hands in your pockets. Both front pockets. Doesn't matter if it's left or right. Pull out whatever's in your pocket and tell me how many picks you have in there. I want to know who amongst you are really hardcore guitarists and never leave the house without a pick or two or three in your pockets. And don't lie to me, guys. I know who's telling the truth. I'm not gonna qualify myself in this thing, because I put a whole bunch of picks in my pocket this morning because they were lying around on my night table, and I said, shit, I should take those because I'm always looking for picks. So I just grabbed them and put them in my pocket. So I have a bunch of picks today. I can show you the ones I usually use here. Look at this guy. Okay, so here you go. So I have, these are the picks that were just lying around. So I have a Prodigy pick. I have a big stubby pick, that is. Get your mind out of the gutter. This is a pretty thick one. Big stubby. I have an EVH pick that came with a really cool Pariah pickups. As a little added bonus. I have a Tech pick, a metal one. These are pretty cool. If you like to really dig into your strings and ruin them, that's a cool pick. I have a Fender Extra Heavy. I like these picks a lot. These are good too. Not too expensive. Then I have another Ernie Ball Prodigy pick also. I like the picks that have the four corners like this, because it's like you have three picks in one. This is a pretty thick one as well, 1.5 millimeters. I like the thicker picks for whatever reason. Then I have, what is this? This is a Dunlop Altex Jazz 3. These are nice too because they're a bit bigger than the regular Jazz picks. Also thick. A little bit on the thick side. Then I have the standard red Jazz picks from Dunlop. These are great too because they're thick. They don't have a lot of bend in them, but they're small. So you can, great for pinch harmonic because you always have a little bit of meat from your thumb. Same black one. And what else? I got a bunch of these. These are also Jim Dunlop nylon picks that I've had lying around forever. So those are the picks that I had immediately lying around, and I shed picks all the time. Every time I take something out of my pocket, like my phone, there's a pick that falls out. And my wife says if I ever leave you, and I'm looking for you, all I need to do is follow the pick trail, and I'll be able to find you because there's picks everywhere. And if ever you need a pick, just look underneath your car seat because usually they're there. All right, so let's see what you guys say here. Okay. Let's see here. No picks, Paul. What the hell? All right, let's see here. Let's just scroll back here and so Fat Philosopher's in his pajamas. That's no excuse, Fat Philosopher. You should still have a pick on you at all times in case of emergency. What if you have to leave your house? There's some kind of a fire. You got to grab your guitar and leave your house, and then while you're waiting outside for the fire department to arrive, you can have nothing to play the guitar with, man. Come on. You need a pick at all times. Leo says, who here has never found picks in their dryer after removing clothes? All the time. All the time. But more than the dryer, underneath my car seat. Mark says, keychain pick holster about 4. See, he's smart. He's smart. He's prepared for it. He's got a keychain pick holster, man. That's awesome. You can also get one of those tacky little necklaces with the pick on them, so that you always have a pick ready to go. Dana has 2, but also carry 2 to 3 in his pack. So there you go. I have a whole bunch in my my guitar cases. Paul says, no picks, never are unless I plan to stop at a music store. Okay. I don't know. I always feel like I'm missing something if I can't pull out some change and have a pick or two in my hands. Quicksilver says, I have a Dunlop pleather keychain thingy where I stuff about 6 picks or so different thicknesses to carry with me, but I don't have the keys in my pockets right now. The thing with these little gizmos that carry picks is that you never think about bringing them sometimes, and so you have them somewhere but never with you. So Keith just has 1. Jeff says 3 picks, a pair of headphones, and 2 Jackman menthol sweets. Okay, cool. Pocket pool is cool. I like pocket pool, Quicksilver. Cohen says his girlfriend always finds picks in his dryer, for sure. I only use those red Mex grip Jazz 3 picks. Yeah, those are good. I like those. I use them for a long time. But then I did like the Prodigy picks because they're a little bit bigger. But the Jazz, these clear Jazz picks are cool too. They have a definite brighter sound to them. Anyways, Frank says picks are where they belong, on the guitar. Fingers are for emergencies, says Wayne. Paul says I can only get along with medium gauge Fender old school plastic, preferably white because they show up on the floor. Yeah, that's a good point. The darker picks definitely disappear when you drop them on the floor or in your carpet or something like that. Thumbnails count. Nick likes the Fender heavies. And Cohen likes the hybrid picking. Did you guys ever learn that trick? Let me share that with you. If you have an old school pick, like, the Fenders, the Fender old school picks is a good example. You know how they usually, when you use them for a long time, they kind of get an edge to them? Like there's a little sharp edge because of all the picking. They don't get worn evenly. You can actually repurpose those edges and get them kind of factory again. Did you know that? You can do that with a carpet. If you take the pick and you actually just brush it into your carpet, just back and forth a few times, the edge, the heat, and just that motion of rubbing it through the carpet will round the edge off again and make them kind of like new. So you can actually breathe some new life into old picks if you're really cheap. Leo says EVH used gaffer tape to keep the picks on his guitar. Yeah, he did. I actually had done that. He has it right here. So he puts it between the horn and the beginning of the pick, the leftover pick guard, and he just rolled it up and put it there. And I did it at first, but I found it a little bit awkward to have that there, so I took it off. But yeah, he did use that. Yeah, if you play enough, you definitely end up with round picks. I once saw a guitar that let you keep the Allen key for the Floyd behind the headstock. Anyone know where to get one of those? Yeah, those are pretty common actually. There's a little plastic thing that you can screw in to the back of your headstock, and then there basically an Allen key or two snap into it and just hold it there. The old 80s guitars had that. The ones that had Floyds on them, they all had that, because you definitely want to have one of these with you if you're going anywhere with a guitar with a Floyd, because this will be able to loosen the headstock nut as well as these guys here. If ever you break a string, you definitely need one of these. So that what they would do is they would just make a little plastic thing. You could probably get those on eBay. And you would just be able to snap it in place so it would hide behind the headstock. Good idea. I mean, it's there all the time if ever you need it. Easy way to lose these things is to keep them in your pocket. They will just disappear. But I haven't seen them in a while, but I want to say I think even Ibanez did that for a while. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I remember like way back they used to do that. And although I tend to really bicker about Floyds because you know how much of a pain they are to keep in tune and all that kind of stuff, really when you have a good quality Floyd, those issues kind of disappear. One of the advantages though with having a Floyd is that if you break a string, most of the time, I'm not going to say all of the time, most of the time the strings break here at the bridge. The advantage with the Floyds is that when you install strings, you cut off the ball end, right? And you put it in there. So if ever a string breaks here, all you have to do, if you don't have locking tuners, and I don't have locking tuners, I prefer these, is just open up the nut, loosen up the string, pull off enough slack, and just stick it back in there. Lock it up, and you're good to go. So you don't have to necessarily change the strings right away. You can get through a gig or whatever with the same strings, as long as you leave enough slack here. So don't cut don't wrap the strings just a few wraps. Like go heavy on the wraps, because you have the locking nut here anyway, so it doesn't matter. Once you have that locked in, you won't get too much movement. But having that extra slack here will save you if ever you bust a string on a Floyd. So that's one of the good things. So Seth is wondering if he should put that on his Strats, truss rod and saddle height Allen key on the back of the headstock. It would be a nice extra to have in there, Seth, I think. You know, if people don't like it, they can always remove it at the end of the day. It's just a little screw. No big deal. It's always good. People like the extras, I think. You know, they just like to be, I mean, you're spending the money, a couple of Allen keys thrown in there for a good measure. It's always good. I'd like it. Hey, Kushman, nice to see you, buddy. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is also the fact that there are some deals, like I was mentioning earlier, Black Friday deals. And these Black Friday deals are popping up here and there. If you guys want to share any cool Black Friday deals that you've seen or come across that are worthwhile, please mention it here, because I know there's a lot of people that are looking for deals like that. One of the things that I wanted to say is that there was a cool list, and I saved it for you guys because I wanted to share it with you. There was a cool list of the top selling guitars for 2021, and I thought it was interesting. That's why I kind of saved it, and I wanted to talk about it today. Because according to this list, and this is in order of which ones sell the most, number one selling guitar for 2021 was the Fender Players Telecaster. That's pretty interesting. I thought it was interesting to see a Telecaster as the number one selling Fender guitar for 2021. I would always tend to think that the Strats would be the big sellers for Fender because everybody does love Strats. But it looks like more and more people out there are opting for the Telecasters. So that, I guess, times might be changing. Now, number 2 is the Fender Strat. That's not a big surprise, but I would have figured it would be number 1. And it's the Players Stratocaster. That's the model. So, interesting that Fender has the best top-selling guitars of 2021 in both spot 1 and 2. So it means Fender's doing good, even with the price hikes that they're doing. Looks like Fender's still doing good. Number 3, give me your guesses for number 3, guys. I want you to guess. Tell me what's number 3. I'll give you a couple of seconds to put in your answer, and no cheating. All right. We're gonna see who's on the ball here. I gotta quiz you from time to time just to make sure you guys are not just listening to me on the background while you're preparing food or something. So Cohen says the Epiphone Les Paul. Keith says Squire. Any more guesses? Going once. Going twice. No more guesses. That's it. Just Epiphone. Quicksilver says Silver Sky. What else? So Cohen says Squire. Frank says Gibson. Dan says SG. Mark says PRS. So a few of you are right. The answer is the PRS Silver Sky. That surprised me quite a bit. So what does that tell you guys? Number 1, Telecaster. Number 2, Stratocaster. Number 3, it's a PRS that looks like a Stratocaster. Interesting. Although the price ranges between number 1 and number 3 quite different, right? So people are liking the Silver Sky quite a bit. This is the John Mayer signature model, by the way. So that tells me if the Silver Sky was more affordable, it would probably be in the number 1 or number 2 position. Isn't that interesting? And then number 3, number 4. So you get a really expensive guitar from PRS. Number 4 is the Squire Affinity Telecaster. So to me, it's really interesting. It really is how it's jumping around, right? But number 1, Fender, 2, Fender, 4, Squire. But obviously now the price is jumping quite a bit. So I'm not surprised that they're selling a lot of Affinity Telecasters because they're very, very affordable. So a lot of kids are learning. I guess parents are buying those. I would have thought, though, that it would be a classic vibe version or something like that because the Affinity are not that great. And then number 5 is the Fender American Professional 2 Strat. So Fender's killing it because they're like all the way till number 5. And then you would think maybe number 6 would be maybe Gibson. Not yet. Number 6 is a PRS SC Custom 24. Then Fender again. Number 7 is Fender American Professional 2 Telecaster. And Gibson only comes in this list number 8 and number 9. So it looks like Gibson is not doing as well as Fender this year. Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s comes in at number 8. Gibson Les Paul Standards 50s comes in at 9. And then a number 10, ESP LTD EC 1000. And I could go down the list, but there's way more Fender products on this list, all the way up to 20, than Gibson. Gibson only has those 2 models that came in. The rest, and I'll just go very quickly. After the SP, it's a Squire. 12 is another Fender. 13 is PRS, 14 is Fender again, 15 is Fender, 16 is Squire, 17 Squire, 18 Fender, and 19 Gibson Les Paul Classic, and then 20th is a Fender Standard Stratocaster. So 3 models for Gibson and only way down on position 19, and Fender seems to be killing it. So what does that tell you, man? What does that tell you? It tells me that Fender's doing really well. It's surprising to me that the Silver Sky is the better selling model of the PRSs. I wouldn't have thought that, but apparently it is. So it seems to be doing really well. And even though it's very expensive, people seem to be buying that one. Interesting. And I'm surprised to see that Ibanez is not in that list. I'm surprised to see Charvel is not in that list. I'm surprised to see Epiphone is not in that list. It's weird. You know, there's a lot of really great guitars missing from that list. So, makes you go, That's what I said, Cushman. No Epiphones. Seems odd, doesn't it? Huh. Gibsons are not as popular as you think, says Fat Philosopher. Maybe not. Maybe not anymore. I think there's just too much other choices. But if that's the case, that Gibsons are not as popular as everybody thinks, then how come there's not more Epiphones in there? You know, I think if Gibson would not be as popular, would be probably because of the price. So I would assume Epiphone would be in there more than we see here. You know, models like the 335, not in there. Models like the SG's not in there. The Junior. Interesting. Yeah, it took 2 years to develop a Strat copy. And apparently, if you listen to what Paul says, it's because of all the improvements that they've made. You take that with a grain of salt if you wish. Paul says I expect the next cool guitar will be a Fender Jazz guitar, but rigged out as a Strat, a way to stay Strat with a pretense of being different. Could be. I know that Fender is still releasing that Strat guitar that is a combo between a Strat and a Telecaster, which is it makes my brain ache when I look at those pictures. It's basically the Strat body with a butterscotch finish, black pickguard with, if I'm not mistaken, there's Telecaster style pickups in there, and the neck is a Telecaster style neck in maple. It's cool, it's different, but it's weird. I don't think I would buy one of those, but they're still selling them. So Fat Philosopher says that's not a big surprise considering how ugly usual PRS guitars are. They took the worst part of Gibson and Fender and put them together. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's the reason why the Silver Sky is a big seller. It definitely is a really comfortable guitar to play because honestly the Fender body style is very, very comfortable. So a lot of people do dig that. But they still have the turkeys on there, Fat Philosopher, so I don't know if you'd like that guitar after all. I don't know if you could even get the Silver Sky with just the dots anymore, maybe on a special order. It used to be the opposite. It used to be that the PRS guitars, the cheaper ones, would have the moons, basically the dots, they call them moons, whatever. And you would have to get the turkeys or the birds by special order because they were the more expensive models. Now they're pretty much all birds, and I guess not a lot of people want the dots, so that's why they're selling them with the birds. It's kind of like the same idea of the Ibanez guitars, you know, the early Ibanez guitars with the lightning bolt pickups that I really found tacky. It was very difficult to get an Ibanez guitar with dots because they all would come with those really tacky Thunderbolts, and I always was trying to get trying to find an Ibanez guitar with dots was almost impossible. When they finally went to dots, I was so happy. I'm like, well, finally, the 80s are over. It could be a question of availability, Larry. That's true. It could be. But from what I understand, after talking to the sellers at the Guitar Center that I went to, Fender is backlogged too. So if dealers are looking to order any kind of Fender guitars, they're going to be on a waiting list. Fender is trying to fulfill the orders from the customers first, and then supply the dealers. So yeah, it could be a question of supply. Maybe there's just not as many in the stores vis-a-vis the results in the poll. Good point. Rico says he's with me. It makes my brain hurt when I look at that Telecaster Strat hybrid. Yeah, it really does. Paul says Gibson relies on higher profits so they can sell less guitars. Yeah, that's a good point too. Although the Fender guitars have been getting up there in price, they're still cheaper than the Gibsons, I have to say. All right. So guys, I think that's gonna be about it for today. I think we're past our 1 hour limit. We're going into 1 hour and 20 minutes now. So I think we're gonna call it a day for this Sunday. I want to thank you guys once again for being patient with me at the start of the video with the technical issues. I'll try and see if I can figure out what the issue was there, but I have a feeling it is like a USB setting thing. If you guys have any questions at the end of the show, please don't worry. Just ask the questions. I'll answer them and fill you in on anything that you might have questions about that happened during the show. And if you guys want to get more information on this guitar, on the Ampero 2 Stomp, or on a couple of other things that I have lined up here, including another really cool pickup swap that I have lined up for my Sir, the Sir Standard Pro there. It's going to be my next victim here for some mods. Stay tuned, because those are all going to be coming up on the show, as well as our special guests that will be appearing on the show from Pariah. So make sure you guys stay tuned. In the meantime, guys, brush up on your guitar playing. Watch out for those cool deals, especially the Black Friday deals. Keep us posted. Make a list for next Sunday, because we want to be able to. We don't want to miss any of these deals, and come prepared. And we'll have another great session next Sunday, and try and get everybody that hasn't already purchased some cool gear into purchasing mode just before Christmas. And I think everybody's going to be happy if Santa brings them another cool guitar or some pedals or a cool amp or something like that. So that's it, guys. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your participation. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who's given me thumbs up. Spread the word, and come back next Sunday where we're going to have some more live chat. All right? Take care, everyone. See you soon.